Hello, and today we are going to talk about boundaries. Why boundaries are going to be so helpful in you protecting what you need in life. What does that mean? That might mean you need more space to process and think before having and diving into a conversation. That might mean you need some time at the end of the day to unwind from the rest of your family without having any demands put upon you. This might mean something that you need at work or in a relationship. Boundaries are always there for you. And so I want you to see, as we go through this, 3 ways that boundaries are going to be really impactful for you and helping you to achieve your best life. Boundaries, once again, I cannot say this enough, are for your benefit. They are for you. So here's a great way for you to get started. 1, just be really calm, just really process and close your eyes if you need to, and just think about what you are feeling in your life. Is there a relationship that feels really strained lately? Is there an area in your life at work or in a responsibility you have, an activity that you do that used to feel really good, but now it feels really heavy? We're looking for those areas where possibly there's some strain, frustration, or even a burden, it just feels heavy that you have to show up in this way, in this relationship, or in this role. That's an ideal place to start to pursue why you're feeling that way and consider if boundaries could help you. So I want to show you an example here. I've got a visual for you. And what we're going to look at is seeing how boundaries come into play around those in your life and the roles that you have. So in this example, you can see that here at the center, this smiling person is you. And maybe you're smiling because you feel happy or you feel success, you feel like things are going well. And there are all these different dynamics that can impact what's going on in your life. The demands that come at you, the responsibilities you have, the goals, the dreams that you're holding on to, as well as all the different dynamics you have in different relationships. Relationships can be professional, they can be acquaintances, they can be neighbors, and then they can be the intimate loved ones in your own family. When you look at all of these different dynamics, it's really easy to see how there might sometimes feel some overwhelm, some frustration. And maybe you can start to imagine back in your own life areas where you're like, you know what, that relationship I had with my sister, we used to be so close. But things have changed and now she's so needy. She feels like she needs me all the time since she's had her divorce and she's trying to fill this gap in her hole with me. And it's just wearing on you that you're not even wanting to take her calls. That's an ideal place where a boundary could help you in your relationship with your sister, because you can get really clear first and foremost with yourself about what you need. So let's say you just need a little bit more space. You feel like she's calling you too much and it's just too much right now. She's asking you to be there for her all the time, but you're still trying to run your work and keep up with your own marriage and your children and all the other things that you would like to do. So you decide that for yourself, what you need. It's not about trying to control the sister. It's not ever about trying to control anyone else. Boundaries are what you need. And so in this case, you could then outline for your sister, look, Abby, I love you and you're an amazing sister and I understand what's going on in your life right now, but I need to find some balance here. I feel like I'm being called on to fill some of these gaps, to fill in what's missing in your life. And I understand that, but I need to find balance and I need to preserve my own, whatever that you want to fill in this. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I'm just trying to give you an illustration here in this story. And you just clearly tell her, Abby, you can't be calling me all the time. I cannot come over every day to visit with you and keep you company. What I could do, Abby, is I could imagine us having a fun time on Saturday afternoons. I can set aside this window every Saturday afternoon to spend with you. But during the week, I have my work and my family that I want to invest in, and I need time alone for myself. Abby, do you understand? And you put that out there for her. Now, Abby, your sister, gets to decide yes or no, if she wants to embrace it or say, I'm angry about this. You need to be here for me all the time. And here's where the second part of the boundary comes in. You need to be clear about what you're going to do if that person does not abide by the boundary you set. You set a boundary that fulfilled your needs, that met and protected what you need in your life. And now if that person chooses not to honor that, that's where you put in a consequence. And a consequence does not have to be a punishment to them. It's just a clear boundary protection. So in this case, if Abby, your sister, chose not to continue to adhere to this new policy that you put in place, then you would just maybe stop taking her calls. You would stop, you're going to state what it is and you're going to be clear with her so she understands. Abby, if you can't give me the space I need throughout the week, then I'm definitely not going to be able to meet with you this Saturday, and I'm not going to be answering your calls or responding to all your texts because it's just feeling too much right now. And this is what I need. And she gets to decide if she is going to oblige or not. But you are going to stand in your own corner. You are going to protect what you need. And in doing so, you're honoring yourself first. You can come from a place of love and giving when you can take care of yourself first. So let me show you in our last slide here how this works in all of your relationships. So boundaries can help you in relationships. They can also help you in yourself, managing your time, achieving the goals and the desires that you have that you would love to fulfill in your life. So instead of you always being called upon by all the people and all the things in your life to give, to do, in order for you to do, to give, to be all the things that they need, that they're making requests of you to make them happy. And then you're just caught up in this cycle of trying to answer and fulfill their needs to make them happy. And you're just having to give to do that. When ultimately that's on them to choose if they're going to be happy and content in their lives. Just like going back to that sister, that's for her to decide not to feel lonely and not to feel so distressed. You can't actually feel that for her. But you keep trying to because there's not some clear boundaries in place. That's where you start to resent her and feel frustrated and angry about that relationship. Do you see how that whole cycle works? So this same thing, this whole crazy cycle, if you will, is happening for you in your life. And once again, I want to stress that this is very normal behavior. So if you're going through this, zero judgment for yourself. Take that off the table right now. This is something that was new to me that I didn't learn until my late 30s. This is something that so many of us don't ever fully grasp. And we're in struggling relationships, or we're in jobs where we just feel so angry and frustrated, and we just quit them to try and go find something else. And then it keeps happening again and again because we don't know how to set clear boundaries in our life. We don't know how to protect exactly what we need for ourselves. And so it's not selfish to look inward. In fact, it's the best thing you can do for you and for everybody that comes in contact with you if you understand how best to show up. So instead of you having bitterness in a relationship because you're doing and being things that you're just not up for, you don't want to do, you know your limitations. You have clear set boundaries to protect and keep you in your zone and to honor and have that relationship in the way that works for you. That's the amazing beauty of boundaries. Are you getting this? Are you seeing this for yourself? In the moment we have left, let me share with you an example at work. Let's say you are somebody who likes a very outlined structure. You have clearly outlined tasks at work. You know what to do. But then you have this new boss who keeps popping in, and they're a dynamo of new ideas. And they love jumping around and having this spontaneity. But that's not you. And all of a sudden the job that you used to love now feels very frustrating. And you have a lot of I don't want to go to work because my boss is driving me crazy. What if instead of driving you crazy and you just want to leave, you can have a candid conversation with your boss, explain how you think, how you process and operate, and that maybe once a week, boss, we could sit down and listen to all these amazing ideas you have and pick which ones might go into the schedule for the following week versus you constantly interrupting me and asking me to stop everything and go run after that idea. And then if not, boss, then I am going to have to seek alternate employment. And so you had a clear-cut boundary that protected what you needed, and then you set in a consequence in place of what was going to happen if that boundary was broken, if it was violated. And you honor that for yourself. That's the huge empowerment factor that you're going to feel coming out of this, because you're setting boundaries that protect what you need. That's super empowering. You're honoring them and clearly communicating them to others. Also empowering. And then when you have to follow through on your boundaries, it's because you loved yourself first. Boundaries are there for you. And I encourage you to look at how you can start to implement boundaries just by inwardly looking at areas that might be causing you pain or frustration right now and feel really heavy and burdensome, and consider how a boundary might be able to help you in that relationship or circumstance so you can achieve your best life.